Oh, I'm good, Chris. How's yourself,
Yeah,
mate?
very well, very well. Thank you. And everyone,
That's
thank you
good.
for joining us here on the Music Bar Podcast, episode
Mm.
33. It's been a very interesting
Double
week for
figures,
us.
double figures, but that are equal. Three and a three.
Exactly right. We're getting there. Yeah, thanks for everyone
Yeah.
joining us again.
Mm.
Few things I want to say before we get on to our subject today, but I just want to thank everyone for watching and subscribing. But I have noticed recently that subscribers hasn't changed that much, but the views are going up. So people who are watching us aren't subscribing. So please, just for a little gift for Dan and I, can you please click that little subscribe button and like us on our YouTube channel?
And also the little bell to remind
and the little bell
sort of notifies people. Yeah, the little bell to notify that, hey,
new episode.
New episode up. Yeah, exactly.
And it's also going to help you subscribe, know when there's a new Get On It. So Get On It will pop up as well. And they're only a minute long or so they're always quite interesting, I found. And a lot of feedback on those. So, yeah, please subscribe. And let's get this viewers, subscribers to match. But let's get on to it, eh?
Yes. Lots to talk about today.
There's a lot to talk about. So today I was actually just wanted to talk about female lead front women. And in that, I was just listening to the other day, I was watching, reading an article, about the new Hailstorm album coming out. So I decided to download it and listen to it. And I've never really listened to it before, but the lead singer, rhythm guitar player, Lizzie
Hale.
Yep, just phenomenal. And it made me think, let's do some female band lead singers, and talk about it. So what do you think about, I know you've just told me beforehand, you listened to this Hailstorm album. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, I mean, I've been a bit of a fan of hers for a little while, but I've only just sort of heard her in little bits. Like she did this great duet with the Mongolian band that I follow, the Who, HU. Have you seen those guys? I'll have to send you. Get on it. The Who. They're a Mongolian metal band. They sing in their natural language and a lot of throat singing, but really heavy. And the lyrics are great because it's all about fighting and warriors and the souls of eagles. And they did this great song called "Song of the Woman" with Lizzie Hale singing for it. And a song I love. It sends shivers down my spine. I love it. And then I saw the new album was out because they've been a bit quiet, and I thought, I'm going to give this a listen. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Holy crap! Her voice is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It is from somewhere else. She has got all the gifts going on. She does the.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
Back in the throat, and
she can do it all for sure.
She could do it all. I was like, wow. And all in the one, like the songs aren't long. They're all really short, sharp, punchy rock songs, very much in that AC/DC mode of get in, rock, get out. They don't linger on. I'm just looking at right now at the song lengths, and look, the longest song on there is 3 minutes 35.
Wow.
It's like they are, and their hooks, they're really good. I'm just like, but look, if we're late to the party on Lizzie Hale and Halestorm, so be it. But I was like, I hit the floor when I when I was hearing these songs today. I was like, wow, this stuff's cool. She's cool. It's great. Wow. I'm still just blown away by how good she is and how good the band is. And so, and I think you felt as soon as you heard her sing too.
Yeah, I downloaded it today actually and listened to it, and I was actually blown away. Like you said, her voice just really just knocked me over. I never listened to any of their music beforehand. I knew who they were. I've read articles about them and seen them here and there, but didn't listen to anything. And now I've listened to their newest album, which was released this week. I'm going to go back and listen to it a bit more. I just think her voice is killer. And as a front lady, she's really good. And she really does, from what I saw on YouTube today while I was watching some of the live performances, and she plays rhythm guitar as well, she's really capturing the audience with her voice and just as a person on stage and being the front person of that. So, I was really blown away. But like I said, it's all about other people as well, other female artists. So let's go back to the beginning kind of thing. We're in Australia here, and obviously we've got some pretty good front ladies here in Australia, but they're all worldwide. There's a bunch of them, so many of them. But we are specifically talking about band ladies, not solo artists. And we want to make sure that's clear.
Do you think you don't see many solo female rock artists? There are out there. Yeah. I'm going to talk about a few of them. There's not as many as being part of the band, being the focus of the band, being the person in the band. Like, look, I'm going to jump a little bit here. I know you want to go back a bit, but I did feel when I first saw Lizzie and her look, Suze DeMarchi from Baby Animals. That was the first impression I got. That short hair, that attitude, that look, different vocal styles completely.
Yeah, for sure.
But similar in looks and even the rocking style. Mind you, Baby Animals more of a rock, whereas Hailstorm, and all the Hailstorm albums called Back from the Dead, because obviously it's been a while since written albums. Hailstorm are very heavy.
Yeah.
But they do go into melodic rock. But anyway, you go back, Chris. So I wanted to make that connection because that's what I really got.
Yeah.
Always got from Lizzie Hale.
Yeah.
So well,
and Susie DeMarchi is one of our greatest. She's obviously, they came out in the early 90s, late 80s. Baby Animals?
91 that album came out, Baby Animals.
91. So she's been a rock. She did really well with that Baby Animals, and she just, she was great, and her voice is amazing. But back before that, there's another Australian who you're going to mention who you love. You can mention it.
I love Chrissy Amphlett from the Divinals.
Yeah.
I love the Divinals. I thought they were a great band. I would never have, if you were to sort of like on technique and stuff like that. I mean, she had her own style and technique, very much singing-wise. But when you're talking powerful voices, I would never put Chrissy in that league with Lizzie. Lizzie's sort of up here at the moment with me. I'm a little floored by it still. I'm a little taken.
That's good.
We might just call this episode Lizzie Hale and everyone else. But Chrissy, she had this attitude and style. It came from, and I think this is where punk rock was a good thing, in that it seemed to be a bit of an equal playing field, that the women could get involved too, not just as singers, but as guitarists, bassists, drummers, players. Chrissy took a very sexual image of the young schoolgirl with the schoolgirl outfit and stuff like that. But she flipped it and turned it on its head and sort of threw it back at the audience. She was dynamite in front of a crowd. And we've talked a lot, even in previous episodes, about the Aussie pub rock scene.
Yeah.
And the early days. And when you had to be good, they could get a bit rough. Lots of alcohol was consumed during these nights. And it's, you had tough guys like Cole Chisel at AC/DC and, the Angels all up. And then Chrissy has to come out there in front of these crowds who are probably yelling out all sorts of stuff at her.
Yeah.
That's probably and for her to be able to stand there and hold her own. And the songs were great. I mean, I Touch Myself was the biggest song from America. It was a big hit in America. But Sleeping Beauty, I love. Good Die Young. The science fiction. Boys in Town, the first song that kicked them off. That's got some energy. They got this song called Siren, Never Let You Go. I really like it because it's actually got a lyric of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A. It says the alphabet as a lyric. I love it. Big fan. And I when Chrissy died, I really did feel that I would put her in the category of those great punky female front woman. Like I'll put her in the category of Chrissy Hine. For influence as well. Debbie Harry. I would put her in with Susie Quattro, who we will talk about. I would put her with Joan Jett. All those really iconic female rockers, that's where I would put her. And I'll stand by that. I know some people have said to me, really? And I'm like, no, I will stand by that. I think she had all of that and more.
Yeah.
So, I'll stand by that.
Totally agree with what you're saying. She was just one of a kind, but she did it so well. And, I think she's up there with those ones you mentioned too. Joan Jett, you just mentioned, obviously, she's still going now. She's playing with the Motley Crue tour. And definitely.
Do you think she's going to come out with them?
Over here? I hope so.
I mean, they've only just started rehearsing, so I know. It's going to be like it probably won't come to Australia till 2024, I reckon, before you see that tour.
That's actually interesting because I was reading an article yesterday about from Nikki Sixx saying they took 2 years to rehearse for the last tour. So
the end, wow.
The final, the final one they did, whatever it was called,
the end.
The end. They rehearsed for about 2 years. So you might be right. It might be 2024 before they come out. Def Leppard might not wait that long. And hopefully she does come out because I've never seen her live. I used to like her. I've got her album somewhere. One of my CDs is one of her albums back from the day. And the Runaways, obviously. I don't have any of their music, but how good were they?
So incredibly influential. You gave me the name Lita Ford, and because I threw out Joan Jett at you when we were preparing this, and I didn't know if you were aware that Lita Ford was a member of the Runaways.
Yeah. She played guitar, sure.
She played. She sang. No, she sang. She was. Oh no, she played guitar. Cherie Currie was the singer. I apologise to any Runaways because I know those Runaways fans, mate. Those Runaways fans go, no, don't get it wrong. The Runaways were so incredibly influential. It was a bit wrong because they were all like 14-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And the guy who put them together, Kim Fowley, he sold them as teenage jailbait. And when I remember when I was a kid, I still loved Cherry Bomb. I think that's a great song. They had some great tunes. I remember as a kid just like, wow, look at them. But then you go as an adult and you look at it and you think, wow, they got Cherie Currie dressed like that and she's 14 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, the 70s was a different time, like
it was.
It was. But I think it does come down to a lot of the fact that the way female artists have been sold as being sexualized.
Yeah.
They've got to be sexy in a way so that they could be sold to an audience. I think we're moving away. I mean, there is a fair degree of it still, but not like it was back in the 70s. And I think that's why women found it harder to cut through and get through. I know being a radio programmer, when I've done radio programming, the initial rule was never put two female artists back to back.
Oh, really?
Never. Yeah. That was a big rule. Two female singers. Yeah. When you're programming music, never put two female artists back to back.
And why would that be?
Because they feel that audiences turn off too. They can hear one song, but most people still, and even though people say I love women in rock and stuff like that, and Pink's got a million tunes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adele, or just one, and then go to the next male-centric artist. And they research the crap out of this. And it's not just, and the big audience they always try to get are female listeners. And so you get what do women want? Well, they like to hear the men sing. And this is from research. I'm not saying this happens. This is the research that goes into these sorts of things. I don't want any of our female listeners going, that's not true. That's bullshit. And I'm like, I'm just going by what the research said, you know, and I'm telling you, man, they researched the hell out of it. But, you know, it's back to the Runaways. They cut through, and they cut through with killer stuff, and those girls could play. But I've seen a great doco on them. There's the movie The Runaways with Kristen Stewart playing Joan Jett and Dakota Fanning playing Cherie Curry. Both doing their jobs very well. But there's a really good documentary about them with all the girls talking. Geez, they were pretty much exploited. They were exploited, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah,
that's a damn shame. You can't erase that sort of history.
Yeah.
What's that, my friend?
As you mentioned before, Lita Ford, obviously, she went on from the Runaways into a solo artist. So, yeah, she did pretty well for herself, and she actually had a couple of songs. She had a song which was a duet with Ozzy Osbourne as well.
Was that Close My Eyes Forever or something like that?
That's the one. Yep. That was a good song. Yeah, she's actually touring still as well. So she's done very well for herself.
Speaking of tours, Chris, we didn't mention Halestorm have announced their Australian tour.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes,
they released the album. They've announced an Australian tour. So later this year, Hailstorm are coming to Australia. So check your guides.
Yeah.
Few of the bands are announcing their tours of Australia now. They can come here now. Yeah. So they're stampeding over.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I might actually go and see them after now I've heard her know a bit more about them. Yeah, I think I might go too. It looks like I want to see that live. And they're only doing the East Coast apparently. They're not doing Adelaide or WA.
That's always the drama.
Yeah,
it's always the drama.
The big drama I saw on the comments the other day. People getting a bit annoyed.
Do you know when Metallica first toured Australia in 1989? They played Adelaide, Melbourne, and Sydney, and that was it.
It's crazy.
On their Justice tour. And the only reason they played Adelaide was because they started a petition.
No, really? No, there you go.
Did you not? You probably didn't know that. Adelaide started a petition when people used to do petitions.
Good on them.
You know? Yeah, I know. I mean, they still do now, but it's just to cancel somebody. That's what all online petitions seem to be now. Instead of let's get somebody out here and tour, it's all like, no, let's get rid of them. We don't want them anymore.
Do you know much about Doro Pesch?
I know not a lot. German.
A band called Warlock.
Yes, that's it, Warlock. Thank you. I was trying to remember the name of the band, Warlock. Never heard much of them, but she does have a reputation. The reason I laughed was there's a great story from Kevin Shirley, who produces the Iron Maiden stuff, and who was on the Daniel Johns podcast.
Yep.
And I remember reading an interview with him where he talked about who was the most difficult person to work with. He said it was Doro Pesch. He was engineering her album, and she had it. Yeah, he engineered, and she had her headphones on, and she kept screaming at him, "Turn the bass up, turn the bass up," and he kept yelling back at her, "If I turn the bass up anymore, it's distorting and it sounds terrible." And apparently she's screaming at him in German, and he's this big Australian guy screaming at her about. I thought, wow, she's obviously. Yeah,
that was back in the day, old Warlock. And obviously, you got someone like Amy Lee. She's wonderful in her voice. She's got an amazing voice as well. I'm not the biggest fan of Evanescence, but she definitely can sing, and she's definitely good on stage with the crowd and everything.
I'm not a fan, but they're a popular band. They are a really popular band. I can't take that away from them, but I can't take away from them. I just think Evanescence's music is rubbish. There, I said it.
So we'll never have her on our show, will we?
Controversy corner right now.
That's funny.
Amy Lee, Evanescence, go away.
Let's go back a bit more to the olden days when we were younger. Annie Lennox.
Well, this is good. Yes, you brought up Annie Lennox, and in saying Annie Lennox, we have to also bring up Pat Benatar, because
Yes,
after last
sure.
week when I went on about the Rock Hall of Fame, they have both been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
As well as Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Dolly got her nomination.
Finally.
They're finding all these recordings that Dolly did with all these rock artists, and then she obviously went, "Oh yeah, well I guess I'm a rock star now."
Yeah.
But Pat Benatar, who I think the influence of Pat Benatar can't be underestimated. And I did read her autobiography, in which she kind of even said, I'm more influential, and I don't get mentioned in it. The names I mentioned before, and we don't mention Pat Benatar, and I just did it just then. And she kind of mentions that in her book that, she kicked down a lot of doors, and Hit Me With Your Best Shot is a rockin' track. And she won a Grammy for that. Best rock vocal performance. Yeah. And she was one of the few female rock acts. She did sort of go more into a pop territory in the mid-'80s, but by the late 80s, All Fired Up came up. And you can't deny that song just like rocks pretty hard.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you know, and I forgot the guy's name, the guy who wrote All Fired Up is Australian?
Really? That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. A band called the Rattling Sabers. And I think it was the guy from, what was it? The Dingoes. The Australian band who sang Way Out West?
Oh, yeah.
Way Out West. I was singing there, Way Out West. Yeah, I think he wrote it. And I forget the guy's name. I forget his name now. But yeah, he wrote All Fired Up. So that would have done well for him.
Wow.
But yeah, Pat Benatar, look, yeah, very, very very influential with as far as female singers are concerned. But the fact that she did it as a solo artist too, which I mentioned before, would have been harder because I think the industry spat out the female artists big time. When I say spat out, it's like they chew them up, spit them out. But in the band, it's like this solidarity thing.
Yeah.
And I know record companies can sell a band easier than they can sell. And Annie Lennox, part of the Eurythmics, both of them inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame. You and I would have grown up, we grew up with both artists all the time. How many hits did the Eurythmics have?
Yeah.
Boy, it was just like from 1983 to 90 other, the Eurythmics just coming out with a new, like a lot of their songs. There's a couple that I like When Tomorrow Comes. I do like, I just hit my head just now and I've just forgotten. Would I Lie to You? That's another one I really like.
Yeah.
And Annie's voice is like out of this world. But another great artist. I mean, we're going through. You do have a list of the 100 greatest, and we're not ranking. We're just talking because we're fans. Let's mention before we go any further. I want to mention Suzi Quatro, who I think is probably one of the OGs as far as this is concerned, coming out in the 70s with playing bass guitar that looked like it was a million times too big for her.
No, she's only short.
She's only a tiny girl from Detroit. But what got me was Susie's really big in Australia. She has a real following in this country. I know some artists are big in Australia and not so big overseas. I don't know what her following is like in America anymore. I don't think she was ever that big. She was in Happy Days playing Leather Tuscadero.
Yeah.
She had the clap clap. That was Leather Tuscadero. She was in that. I think she had popularity in England, but those 70 songs, Devilgate Drive, 48, Crash, all that. And there was a song she came out with in 1980 called Rock Hard. And that's a cool song. If you've never heard it, it does. It rocks hard. It's a cool track.
She appeared on Hey Hey Saturday quite a few times.
She toured Australia a lot.
Yeah, she was always here.
And she still does.
Yeah. And she's on Countdown with Molly.
She always is. And what did she say? She last time she toured Australia, Oh, yes, Molly loved everybody. I think last time she played it, she said in an interview, because she's a grandma now, of course. She said, like, she shakes her butt at the crowd, and if nobody cheers, she's going to stop touring.
So, yeah. I do have a list of people in front of me. Top 100. Now, there's a lot of people in there who we all know are great vocalists, but they weren't the band people like Janis Joplin. We've already mentioned Debbie Harry, Pat Benatar, Tina Turner's on there as well. Ann Wilson.
Can I just say that I think Tina Turner was amazing, and still, well, she's not dead yet, but she was amazing. You really listen to those things she did, and I love Nutbush City Limits, and that song rocks in my books. But yeah, Tina, amazing vocalist. A couple of weeks ago, there was a thing on Hey It's Saturday on TV, and they showed this footage of Tina Turner doing Proud Mary on one of her Australian tours in the studio. So good. So good. So good, man. Yeah. And
on Tina Turner, not the biggest fan. She's great at what she does for sure, but she's probably known in Australia as one of the best NRL show songs ever on the halftime.
Yeah, I do. And yes.
She did that really well.
That was a huge promotion and it worked for her. Yeah.
It worked.
Have you got any other names for us, Chris? Because it super well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It always does. Yes. You got any other names for us, Chris?
Well, before we go, I just want to touch base. It is Mother's Day this a couple of days ago. So that's why we're doing also female artists. But I just want to touch base quickly on a few I think should get a call out. Gwen Stefani, amazing singer, amazing front lady. Yeah. Some of the best songs, even I love listening to them. Cranberries, you got Dolores. How good was she? And then
I never liked Dolores. Never liked Dolores and the Cranberries, but you can have them.
Yeah, they're brilliant. They were really good. And then also Shirley Basin from Garbage.
Shirley Manson.
Manson.
Yes, who I think she's amazing. I think she is incredibly good. Wow, what a performer! Whoa, what a performer!
So yeah, but anyway, let's go into the cool thing before we sign off. My cool thing for the week, again, a female artist, not a singer, but a guitar player, Nita Strauss.
All hail Nita!
Nita Strauss plays guitar for Alice Cooper. She's been in a few bands before, but she's also got her own album out now, which I'll probably do a get on it this week for, which is called Controlled Chaos. That was her first one she released. Nita Strauss, amazing female guitar player, and you probably hear us talk about her quite a bit. Just from California, she's just phenomenal. So have a listen to her album, Controlled Chaos. I'll do a get on it this week as well. But that's my cool thing.
As I said, all hail Nita Strauss. My cool thing for the week is one of my favorite artists. I saw her the last show I saw before we all got into lockdown was Mono, and Joe Quayle was the support act. She's this cellist and she plays with loops and things like that. She plays live and it blew my mind. She's got a new album out now called The Cartographer, which I listened to today. She's performing it with a full orchestra. And I'm going to recommend this for you too, Chris. It's heavy.
Oh, really?
There are some moments on this album where you go, oh, this is heavy orchestral music. Yeah. It's an all instrumental pieces, a little bit of vocal here and there for texture. But I'm Joe Quayle. I'm a huge fan of hers. And I will follow her. I will see her live next time, every time. And yeah, that's my cool thing. The Cartographer.
Nice. Well, thank you much for the week again, Dan, for coming on and talking again. And thank you to all the mothers out there and all the female singers and artists and everybody. The world wouldn't be the same without you all.
And a lot of them are mothers.
And a lot of them are mothers, exactly right. So, yeah. And like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon on the Music Bar Podcast.